I could literally do a song, right? I would literally do a song. No, this song isn't that. I would take like a week or 2 weeks to just finish the song because I hate my accent so much now. Now that I hear it, but
that is interesting, right? Because you're raising your kids in a mansion, right, in Jersey, but you grew up in the Bronx. How do you make sure they don't grow up spoiled? Because that's what I be trying to focus on.
they spoil. I ain't gonna.
And it's not even that they spoiled; they don't know nothing else.
Yeah. They don't know nothing else.
Yeah.
But they do, as you know what I noticed, as long as they with their cousin, they don't care where they at. Because when they be in my grandma's house or like when they was in the yard in the country, they I kept calling like, are you guys okay? They was, as long as they with their cousin, kids are okay. They just gotta be with their cousins. That's the trick. They gotta be with their cousins. They're gonna have a good time anywhere. As long as their cousins is around, their friends around.
How is it when you do go through something with your wife Cardi B to have that everywhere, and how do you deal with that?
It sucks, bro. Worst thing ever. It be, cause then it's so opinionated, and it ain't looked at like reality or like this never been done before, or like people not going through. It's like fate. It's like it's the worst thing ever. I feel like it ain't no privacy. It can really determine your destiny.
How did y'all shut out that clutter? How do you know what I'm saying? Because of course you got to go through your situation.
You gotta let time and healing. You gotta talk, and it's a process. You just gotta stay at it, but it's hard, bro, because everybody got something to say.
Stefon Diggs lost more than just the Super Bowl. So he allegedly lost his woman, Cardi B. Now, y'all, we had just talked about how happy Cardi was that they were going to the Super Bowl.
This was so packed and jumping, but you know what? Us Pat fans, we stuck together and we stuck it out and we won. We all we got, we all we need. Like Mr. Diggs said, L.
But when the Super Bowl actually came, Cardi didn't have much to say anymore. So a reporter asked her if she had any advice, but she kept it surprisingly short.
A message for Stefon before the game. One inspired message from him.
Good luck.
She said, Cardi said good luck and walked away. Good luck. Is that some kind of sick foreplay that only Cardi and Stefon would understand? I'm like, what happened? What happened to, like Mr. Diggs say, we all we got, we all we need. Ow. What, like, where? It's only been 3 business days, y'all. Oh my gosh. Well, I would be like that too because Stefon's other baby mama was also at the Super Bowl. She was also there. And then fans noticed the ultimate sign of a breakup. They unfollowed each other on Instagram. Okay, all right? And so I'm like, you know what? Of course you didn't win the Super Bowl. You got too many women and babies in the same place. Good grief, Stefon. You are over here in the Super Bowl. You're supposed to be studying defensive plays, and you over here making sure one woman is on the opposite side of the field from the other. Here you got your coach. The coach is drawing up the football plays. You drawing up visitation schedules. What are you doing? For me, I don't understand. Why would Stefon invite 2 of his baby mamas to the Super Bowl? This is what I gotta say. I may not have understood a lot of Bad Bunny's lyrics, but I understood that more than what I understood going on with Stefon and all of that. Oh my gosh. You cannot double book women unless you also double book the exit route. And Cardi, one thing about Cardi B, she does not strike me as the quiet exit type. So Stefon, what I think is you gonna come home to a closet full of cut up clothes. So I don't know, but I still say we need at least one mystery solved. So before y'all actually officially break up, can you tell me what is the name of y'all baby? What's the baby's name?
Cardi B almost didn't take the stage, and now a completely different accusation is turning the entire situation upside down, because what started as a heated backstage argument has now turned into claims of damage, disrespect, and a story that doesn't fully add up. And the biggest question right now is simple. Did Cardi B take things too far? Or is there something we're not being told? It didn't begin with a performance. It began with frustration. Right before her show in Atlanta, Cardi B went live, and what people saw wasn't excitement, it was anger. She was visibly upset, calling out arena staff, saying they were being rude for no reason. Not just rude, but crossing lines. According to her, employees were pointing fingers, speaking aggressively, and even getting physical in ways she didn't appreciate. And that's when things escalated fast. She said she wasn't performing. Not maybe, not thinking about it. Flat out. She was ready to walk away. After 30-plus shows with no issues, this was the one that pushed her to the edge. But what made this situation different wasn't just the argument, it was how public it became. And that's where things started to spiral. For a moment, it looked like the entire show was about to collapse. Fans had already bought tickets, the venue was packed, energy was high, and behind the scenes, everything was falling apart. Cardi made it clear. Until there was an apology, she wasn't stepping on that stage. That's a bold move, because canceling a show doesn't just affect one person. It hits the fans, the venue, the entire production. But despite everything, the show went on. And when she finally hit the stage, the performance was still explosive. You wouldn't think anything was wrong unless you were paying attention. Because in between the music, the frustration was still there, and she didn't hide it. Mid-performance, Cardi said something that instantly changed the tone. She wasn't just mad anymore. She was done. She told the crowd this would be the last time she performs at that arena. Not next year, not after things cool down. Ever. And that's a big statement. Because we're talking about State Farm Arena, a major venue in one of the biggest music cities in the US. Artists don't just cut off cities like that. But Cardi wasn't holding back. She even joked she'd rather perform in a parking lot than deal with the arena again. That's not just frustration. That's a message. But just when it seemed like the story would end there, something new dropped. And it changed everything. Right after the show, a new claim surfaced. And this one didn't come from Cardi. It came from the other side. An alleged arena employee spoke out, claiming that Cardi B and her team trashed the dressing room. Not just left it messy, destroyed it. We're talking damage, chaos, complete disrespect to the space. Now suddenly, the story flipped. Because before, Cardi was the one being disrespected. Now, she was being accused of doing the same thing back. And here's where it gets complicated. There's no confirmed proof, no official report, no direct response from Cardi B, just a claim that spread fast. And in today's internet, that's all it takes. The reaction was instant and divided. Some people didn't hesitate. They called it unprofessional, said it was childish, said there's no excuse for damaging property, no matter how mad you are. And for a lot of people, that was the end of the discussion. In their eyes, it didn't matter what happened before. Once things crossed that line, there's no defending it. But others weren't so quick to jump to that conclusion. They started questioning the story itself. Was it really Cardi B, or was it someone in her team? Or did the situation get exaggerated as it spread online? Because here's the part people don't always think about. Big entourages come with a lot of moving parts. Artists don't move alone. There are friends, staff, security, assistants, sometimes dozens of people backstage. And not everything that happens in those spaces is directly controlled by the artist. So if tensions were already high, if there was already an argument, it wouldn't take much for things to spiral. One moment of frustration, one bad interaction, and suddenly everything escalates. That doesn't automatically mean Cardi herself did anything, but it also doesn't mean nothing happened. And that's where things get complicated, because without clear proof, without footage, without a direct response, it turns into a battle of narratives. One side builds their version, the other builds theirs. And the truth? It gets buried somewhere in the middle. That's when situations like this get messy, because now it's not about facts anymore, it's about perception. But what really shifted everything was what happened next. This stopped being just about Cardi. Out of nowhere, the focus shifted from Cardi B to Atlanta itself. People started connecting this situation to a much bigger pattern, because there's already been talk about customer service in the city, especially after Keith Lee went viral for calling out issues at local restaurants. That situation had already planted a narrative, and now this just added fuel to it. Some people sided with Cardi. They said this wasn't new, that there's a culture of attitude, of power trips, of people acting bigger than they actually are. But others pushed back, hard, saying it's unfair to label an entire city based on a few viral moments, that every place has bad experiences. And Atlanta shouldn't be singled out like this. And just like that, the conversation got even bigger than the situation itself, saying it's unfair to generalize an entire city over a few experiences. And honestly, that's a valid point. Because one situation, no matter how loud it gets online, doesn't represent everyone. It doesn't define an entire culture, a whole workforce, or a city as influential as Atlanta. But the internet doesn't really slow down to think like that. Once that narrative started, it spread fast. Clips got reposted, opinions got louder, and suddenly, people weren't just talking about one incident anymore, they were connecting dots that may or may not even be related. And just like that, this stopped being a backstage issue. It turned into a full-on debate. Here's where things get serious. Because Cardi B isn't just any artist you scroll past on your feed. She's one of the biggest names in rap, period. Her presence alone shifts attention. Her reactions become headlines. And her actions, they get analyzed from every angle. Her tour success proves it. Sold out shows, massive crowds, fans showing up no matter what city she's in. She's dominating her lane right now. But moments like this, they don't just disappear, they stick. And not always because of what actually happened, but because of how people remember it. That's the part most people underestimate. Because once a narrative forms, true or not, it becomes part of the story. If she stays silent, people start filling in the blanks themselves. They assume, they speculate, they build their own version of events. But if she responds, that opens a completely different door. Because now every word gets picked apart, every detail gets questioned, and one wrong tone can flip the entire situation again. And right now, she hasn't said anything. No statement, no clarification. Nothing to confirm or deny what's being said, which only makes everything more unpredictable. Because the longer it stays unanswered, the more versions of the story start to exist. And once multiple narratives take hold, it becomes harder to separate fact from assumption. So now we're left with a situation that doesn't have a clear ending. Two sides, two completely different stories. One says she was disrespected, pushed to a point where anyone would react. The other says she crossed a line, turning frustration into something more serious. And somewhere in between those two versions is the truth no one has fully seen yet, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. But until that truth comes out, everything is speculation. And in moments like this, perception becomes reality. Which leads to the real question. Was this a justified reaction to being pushed too far, or a moment where emotions took over and crossed a line? Because depending on the answer, this could either be forgotten quickly or become one of those moments that follows her for a long time. And the craziest part? We still don't know what actually happened behind those doors. No full footage, no confirmed reports, just pieces of a story that don't fully connect. But one thing is clear, this wasn't just another tour stop. This was a moment that could change how people see everything. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Cardi B was justified? Or do you think this went too far? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe, because the next story might be even crazier.